Footprinting the network, video 2. As I mentioned in the first video, footprinting the network refers to a passive reconnaissance. You have to know what you're dealing with before you perform your attack. Know the IP of the right servers, know what servers you want, and know as much about your target as you possibly can. Passive reconnaissance can't get you into trouble. It's about using the internet to your advantage. Almost every single person leaves some form of digital footprint behind. So think about this for a sec. Google+, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Where there's information roaming, it is endless. You just need to know how to look for them. So let's start with Netcraft. Netcraft will give you web server information like what is running on the web server, IIS, Apache, Tomcat. It will give you IP address information that is needed for the active recon or reconnaissance part. You can get hosting information like which country the people are hosting at. Something you just need to keep in the back of your mind. Each country has a different law pertaining to certain information. Know the legislation of that country before you hack it. So let's go and check out Netcraft. Open up Google and search Netcraft. Go to netcraft.com and on the right, put in a server. Let's use IBM as an example. Now you will see that IBM is running Linux. Awesome, isn't it? Let's try another one. Let's go for google.com. Again, they are also running Linux. So people, I'm not saying you will always get an answer. Sometimes you do get the unknowns. But this is a great start with a passive recon to see what is running on the web server. If you do get an unknown, go and hit a job website. I mean, obviously, if they are advertising for somebody qualified as an MCITP, that can only mean that they are running Server 2008. I'm not saying it's always going to be 100%, but it's a start. The next one we have is Whois. Now, Whois is basically something on the internet known as a registrar that keeps information about domains, and you can get information off it. For example, who registered the domain? What are the telephone numbers for whoever registered the domain? Names and email addresses of whoever registered the domain. Now, bear in mind, this is not always going to be very accurate because a lot of people actually use or make use of hosting companies. In that case, it's going to be the hosting company that registered the domain with their telephone numbers, names, and email addresses. But you do get the odd occasion where you get the one person that registered their own domain, which is good for you. So let's go and check out the Whois. Right, so a safe option now to use is your own IP address. Obviously, the one that you got from your ISP. So you can go into Whois if you know what the IP address is. In my case, I've got no idea what my IP is. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what is my IP? And there we go. There is my public IP. So I'm going to copy that out. And from there, you can go back to Google and you can go and type in Whois IP. Let's go to that one over there. And over here, we're just going to go and add that IP address. Now, the information that we're going to be getting back is obviously going to be from my ISP, Whois Telkom Mobile. So this is what I mentioned earlier on. You're not always going to be that good with getting information with doing a Whois on a public IP address, especially not if it's hosted. But let's go and have a look a little bit further into this IP address before we give up completely. Go back to Google and put in there IP geolocation. You can use the first one up there, and we're just going to add the IP address again. And there we go. It's fairly okay. I am from Pretoria. But guys, you can go into this even more. I'm a bit scared because I don't quite know what exactly it's going to give me, but let me go and show you what I mean with this. If we copy the longitude and latitude and we go into Google Maps, all you're going to do is you're going to add the longitude and latitude, and it's going to give you wherever the ISP is. Luckily for me, it's not picking up my home address, and it's actually picking up a location 22 minutes drive from my home. And this is the location of my IP address at the moment. Sometimes you are lucky and you can actually get a person's IP address. So I bet you never really thought that you could get that type of information off an IP address. But anyways, let's go on. NS lookup, like I said, very old tool, and a lot of IT guys actually uses this. It's going to give me DNS and IP address information, and it will find address info based on the resource records. For example, MX records, which refers to your Exchange servers or your mail exchanger. It can find additional servers if you have any additional servers. So let's go and check this out and have a look at what exactly we can find with this. Okay, so I'm going to be running mine through Kali, but you can, if you want, to run it through Windows as well. It doesn't really make a difference. So we're going to start off by typing NS lookup and then what you want to look up. Now, in the example I gave you on the presentation, I actually used a website called everythingfunny.org. And from there, it's going to give me basic address information. So what I can then do is I can then go and type NS lookup again, but this time without an IP address. And I can first of all go and see if they have got a mail server. So I'm going to say set type equal to MX. Enter. And which website do we want to do this from? I want to do it from everythingfunny.org. And let's wait for a result. Server can't find any information. Okay, so this probably just means that they don't have an actual mail server. They used to have a mail server, so I wonder if this website actually still exists. But anyways, this way you can go and play around and see exactly what you can find, who's got mail servers, who don't have mail servers, and whatever else information you are trying to find. So I'm just going to go with one quick one, NS lookup, and let's this time say www.google.com. Please note that I'm not actually hacking Google. I'm just trying to find some obvious information that we probably could have found by just Googling it as well. So what did we do earlier on? I said NS lookup as is, and from there, I'm just going to say set type equal to MX. And on what do we want to do this? We want to do this on google.com. And there we go. There we've got a couple of mail exchange servers or mail exchanger servers. When I'm referring to Exchange, I'm not physically referring to Microsoft Exchange, but more just a normal basic mail server. So guys, that's it. That is how easy it is to find information publicly. Awesome for keeping up, by the way. In the next video, we're going to bend the rules a bit and manipulate Google. See you then.